It was supposed to be a private gathering, closed door, tight guest list, high security. Former President Donald Trump was hosting an exclusive event with powerful business leaders, political influencers, and a few carefully selected celebrities. But when Denzel Washington entered the room, heads turned. It's not just because he's a Hollywood icon, but because of the energy he carried, calm, composed, and unapologetically grounded. From the moment he walked in, it was clear Denzel didn't come to play politics. He came with a presence, and that alone made people nervous. Within minutes, whispers began to spread. Why was Denzel here? Who invited him? And what happened next shocked even the most seasoned attendees. Denzel wasn't there for show. He wasn't interested in photo ops or cozying up to political elites. He stood back, observing, shaking hands respectfully, but making no effort to insert himself. That alone caught Trump's eye, used to people falling over themselves for attention. Trump saw something different in Denzel, a kind of defiance rooted in dignity. As the conversations flowed and speeches began, Denzel stayed silent till he was asked a question about leadership in America. His answer was calm, measured, but laced with truth. Real leadership, he said, starts with service, not control, not manipulation, but sacrifice. The room shifted, the tone changed. Trump didn't like it. What Denzel said wasn't disrespectful. It wasn't partisan, but it hit a nerve. Trump, feeling his authority challenged on his own turf, signaled to one of his aides. Moments later, security began quietly moving toward Denzel. It was subtle at first, but to those watching closely, it was obvious. He was being asked to leave. A murmur ran through the crowd. Someone even gasped. This was the former president, really kicking out one of the most respected black actors in America on camera, in front of elite guests. But Denzel didn't react with anger. He didn't raise his voice. He simply looked at the guard, nodded slowly. And then he did something no one expected. Denzel stood tall, turned to the entire room, and began to speak. "Before I go," he said, "let me leave you with something." He didn't call anyone out by name. He didn't throw shade. But his words cut deep. Too many people in this country are more concerned with power than with people. We've forgotten that integrity is worth more than influence. That telling the truth, even when it costs you, is leadership. The room was frozen. Even Trump paused. Denzel wasn't preaching. He was witnessing. His voice was low, but every word landed like a thunderclap. And for the first time that evening, no one interrupted. Security hesitated. Even they could feel the weight of what was happening. Denzel was delivering something bigger than a soundbite. He was holding a mirror up to power. "I didn't come here for politics," he said. "I came here to remind you that character matters. Whether you sit in the Oval Office or a studio trailer." The room was silent. Some nodded. Some looked uncomfortable, but no one spoke. Trump, usually quick to respond, leaned back, arms folded, silent. And then Denzel thanked the crowd, turned, and walked out. No escort, no drama, just dignity. And that's when the applause began. It started with one person, then another, and the room filled with claps. Not just polite applause, but the kind that says, "We heard you, we felt that." Trump didn't smile. He didn't clap. He looked around the room, visibly stunned by the shift. What was supposed to be a controlled, curated evening had just been hijacked by truth, and the truth wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. It was embodied by a man who carried it quietly but confidently. Denzel didn't shout anyone down. He simply stood tall and let the weight of his integrity speak. Social media exploded within hours. Leaked footage of the moment was everywhere. Headlines screamed, "Denzel Washington kicked out by Trump." Security called on Hollywood star after speaking truth. Hashtags like hashtag Denzel vs. Trump and hashtag truth walked out began trending. Analysts debated whether Trump overreacted. Others asked why Denzel was even invited in the first place. But for most Americans, it wasn't about politics. It was about what Denzel represented. He became a symbol, not of rebellion, but of righteous resistance. Not of division, but of decency. And that alone made his quiet stand one of the loudest statements of the year. Later, in a rare interview, Denzel addressed the incident. Didn't bash Trump? He didn't even mention his name. Sometimes you walk into a room not knowing why you were sent, he said. But when truth needs a voice, you don't need a script. He spoke about accountability, about the danger of celebrity without character, and the importance of speaking even when it's uncomfortable. I didn't say anything new, he shrugged. I just said what needed to be said. That humility only added to the power of what happened that night. It's because real power doesn't shout, it shows up. Behind the scenes, some attendees privately reached out to Denzel. They thanked him, told him his words made them think. Even some who didn't agree with his stance admitted they respected him for standing firm. That's what leadership looks like. Not arrogance, not control, but conviction. Denzel didn't need a title to lead. He didn't need applause. He walked out of that room the same way he walked in, centered, composed, and unbothered. And that's what people remember. Not the tension, not the security, but the strength of a man who knew exactly who he was. In the end, Trump may have controlled the guest list, the cameras, even the security. But Denzel Washington controlled the moment, with calm, with class, and with truth. He reminded America and the world that in times of chaos, integrity is still power. That the most powerful man in the room isn't always the one at the podium sometimes. He's the one quietly speaking truth to it and walking away. Without needing anything in return, no headlines, no cheers. It's just a legacy built on something bigger than fame. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what made even Trump pause.